take a Hey, good morning. Whoa. Good morning. We're gonna go ahead and get started. It is 9:01, so we're a minute late. You guys know I'm quite punctual, so let's get started. Thank you all for coming to our June meeting. It's great to see my neighbors here. Just a reminder, if you haven't got any refreshments, courtesy of Strawberry Hill Neighborhood Association, please feel free to grab something. And if you haven't signed in, please sign in to get an actual accurate count of the number of people here. And with that, we're gonna get started. Kayla, Livable Neighborhoods Task Force, is going to give us some announcements on what we're doing in our office. Great.
And Nina wrote down my notes because I can't remember. I just wanted to remind all neighborhood leaders or anybody with an organization, if you would like to table at Night Out Against Crime, let Barb Kill know. That's coming up on August 6th. And she has flyers. It's at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. We also, for neighborhood groups, we have grants. They will be released on, there's our regular annual grants that will be released on July 31st. We're gonna have 2 info sessions. We have a few things that are changing a little bit this year, so we just want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So I believe we're having one right after our July meeting. If you can stay late for that one, we'll have an info session, and then we'll have one the following week on, do you remember?
The 1st of July.
The 1st of July, but we'll send out more information with that as well. We also have a neighborhood leadership training coming up in September. There's a save the date in the newsletter, the printed newsletter and the e-news. So just keep that in mind. We'll have an official registration that will come out later. Right now, we don't have a registration link or any way to sign up yet, but keep that in mind in September. It's a 4-week series, and we're looking forward to that. So that's all I have.
And then I'm just going to move into our announcements for our connectedness committee. As you all know, we launched a community connectedness committee. It meets the 3rd Friday of every month at 1 p.m. It only lasts an hour. Just a reminder of our goals. We've established 4. One is regarding sidewalk improvements. The second is regarding neighborhood connections. We want to host a town hall of some sort. We don't have a date yet. The 3rd is we want to address language access, and the 4th is we want to somehow combat, target the stray dog issue, stray animal issue in Wyandotte. So those are our 4 goals. In May, Andrew Roddy from Public Works came and he spoke to us about the sidewalk and curb initiative reimbursement program that the UG has. And our goal is to pursue some grant funding, and in combination with that reimbursement program, we hope to address some of the poor conditions of sidewalks in Wyandotte County. This month was really exciting. We had some members of KC tenants come and talk about their community organizing efforts around language access that has eventually led for KCBO to establish their own Office of Language Access, which is really exciting. I highly recommend that everybody go and look into that. And we hope to develop something similar here in Wyandotte County. Again, we don't know what that looks like, so we're still in the early stages of the committee work. It's still very exciting. And then next month in July, Dwayne Bright, who is a student executive with the planning department, will host a vision session for us. And the purpose of that session is to reimagine what do neighborhoods look like in our ideal world, and how can we get there. Everybody's invited to attend that one. I believe it's July 19th. Just email our general email at livableneighborhoods@ypok.org if you're interested in participating. And I believe that is it as far as updates for the Connected Committee. If anybody is interested in participating, not just at the vision session, but in any future meetings, please contact us directly, and I can send out invites. We meet in person and virtually for those that can't or don't want to come in person. That's perfect. Yeah, and that's it for Livable Neighborhood updates. We're going to move into our presentations. The first one we have is Ms. Brandy Thomas with the Veterans Treatment Court Program, and going to talk to us a bit about their office and their program. Do you want to see that?
Sure, yeah.
And know it's a Zoom.
Oh, yeah. We usually have folks stand up front. They can hear you but better if you're up front.
Okay. I'm Judge Renee Henry. This is Brandy Thomas. I run the Veterans Treatment Court here in Wyandotte County. It's a pretty new program. We started about 2.5 years ago. And what it is a program where a veteran who is charged with a crime can have an opportunity in recognition for their service to go through our program. And at the conclusion of the program, their conviction is expunged under Kansas statute. And it is post-conviction. So they would plead guilty and then go through our program. And like I said, if it's completed, they don't have the conviction on their record. If it's not completed, unfortunately, then they would serve the original sentence. And what it is a very intensive program. We partner with the VA. We have a liaison from the VA to get them treatment. I think every vet that's come through, we've helped with housing, help them to get the benefits that they're entitled to through the VA for their service, as well as address any mental health issues and any substance abuse issues. We meet in court every other week, and we address how they've been doing. If they've been doing well and attending treatment and staying clean, then we have actually a prize wheel they get to spin and get incentives. It can be a candy bowl. We have some gift cards. We have military swag, things of that nature. And so they do get really excited. It's like a physical wheel. And then if they're not doing what they need to be doing, there can be sanctions. Sometimes it's just to write a reflection letter about why they didn't do what they needed to do. Sometimes it is going into custody. And it also can help us to know if we need to change what's going on as far as their treatment. We have an amazing team of people that really want to be there. Many are former vets. Brandy is a vet. She came on. We got grant funding about a year ago, a little over a year ago. Brandy came on board and she's really helped us to grow our program. Sheriff is very nicely gives us a Deputy Zonter that attends court, and he does help with things like going to home visits to check and make sure our vets are doing what they need to be doing. We also have a mentor program where we do find other vets in the community that are willing to mentor the vets that are in our program, so that they do have that support. And the mentor is not part of the court team. So anything that they talk about with the mentor is not anything that has to get reported to court. So that's the general overview. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't know what information you guys want. So does anyone have any questions? I know. Yes.
How many vets are coming through the program?
Right now we have about 8. So we're starting small, but like I said, we got Brandy on board, so we're growing. We've got a few in the pipe that are coming down. We've graduated, so it's an 18-month program, and we have graduated 3 vets. And one of our graduates actually came back yesterday. We had a kid, and he was just wanted to talk to the other vets and say, like, this was the most amazing program. It's like, I've lost 40 pounds. I'm the happiest I've been in my life. He said he bought a car for the first time in 6 years. He's been stably employed. He had to graduate through our program, but he's continued to be and is actually starting a business in addition to what he's doing. So it's really rewarding to see they're doing well. And it's also really frustrating when they're not doing well.
How many vets are in your jail right now? Do you know?
I can tell you,
It fluctuates. So I get a list every single month from the nurse who screens anybody who comes into custody. If they self-identify as a vet, it can fluctuate. I've seen 40, I've seen as many as high as 70.
Really?
So it really fluctuates. So my job, one of my roles in my job, is to go through the screening list and identify, do they meet our criteria, such as, are they a felony? Do they live in Wyandotte County? Is the charge appropriate for our court? Because we do not take all felony charges. Like, we don't take any sex crimes, but very violent offenses we won't take. And then once I do screen them out of the 70, I think I only found maybe 7 that fit our criteria. And then out of those 7, then I have to narrow it down further. We have to do 2 different assessments. We have to take it to the team, to staff. And then at the end of it, do they want to participate? It has to be willing. They have to be willing to do this program. Which if you're gonna do an 18-month program, you're given offer 12 months of probation, which one would you take? And probation, and it's gonna be way easier, to be honest. With our treatment court, it's intensive, as Judge said, so they're gonna have to participate in something, whether it's drug treatment, mental health treatment, and they have to do everything they can to advance through the 5 phases of the program, which is the 18 months. So like I said, it fluctuates every single month. The one I got for this past June, I think it was 49 vets. So, and they can just live anywhere, but just went to custody in Wyandotte County.
Now, these, in terms of eligibility, both people who have been adjudicated guilty as well as those who plead guilty,
So typically it's gonna be a plea.
typically,
Yeah.
if they're already people in custody are waiting for trial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, we also will screen those who are already on probation. Let's say they're on probation and not doing well, and they're up for revocation,
Mhm.
and they're an eligible veteran. Whoever they are being supervised by can reach out to me or somebody on the team. Say, hey, this is a veteran. We're getting ready to revoke him or her. And can you screen them, see if they're eligible for vet court? And that's the last ditch effort before sending them to prison, which is what happened with our last graduate. He wasn't doing well on probation, so they reached out to us. He was eligible. We got him in the program, and he graduated successfully and didn't have to go to prison. And then one last thing I'm gonna leave some flyers if anybody wants any information, and I'm gonna leave my business cards along with our mentor coordinators cards. If anybody would like to come just observe court, see what it's like. If you all know any veterans, I would appreciate it. Just to volunteer, or to come observe. We would really love some more support from the community. My role is to get out in the community and get engaged and bring resources back to the team, back to the court, back to the vets. So it's been a little bit challenging to just get engaged in Wyandotte because I'm not from Wyandotte County. I'm actually from California. So it's just been a little bit challenging for me. But I would appreciate any and all support. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call me, email.
How you doing with mentor vets?
So we just hired on our mentor coordinator. He's been on about 4 months. He was a mentor prior to that. So we have about 6 mentor vets. 2 of them are a little bit hesitant to take on any veterans right now because they were the ones that took on a bulk of the load when the program started. So they had 3 each, so they're kind of taking a step back. So we do need mentors. We especially need female mentors. We only have 1 right now. And thank God we only have 1 female veteran in the program. So if we ever were to get a second female veteran, we would have to either find another mentor, female mentor, or just hope that female mentor will take on the mentee.
You said that you only screen and approach for the program people that have self-identified as veterans, but is there a way for people that might not have self-identified to find them as veterans?
So another thing that I do is I also screen the jail as well. I screen the entire jail list as much as I can every day, because unfortunately, not every veteran self-identifies. It's whether it's a pride thing, or they want to get in trouble, or they want to leave their benefits, things like that. So as much as I can, depending on how large the list is, I go through the entire jail list every day, because I get a screening list every day. I'll go through and it's a very tedious process. And sometimes I could just pull up a name and it'll say a crime, or it's a misdemeanor, or it's a probation violation, and I just move on. So that's the way I've been doing it. I'm sure there's probably an easier way that we just haven't found yet, but that's just how I do it for now. But any veteran, we have a website, and that's on the back of these brochures. They can find our application, which is online. They can find my contact info, the mentor coordinator's contact info, and they can always just reach out if they have questions, if they want to participate, if they want to volunteer, or just come observe.
And we do right now, one of the criteria is that you have to be eligible for benefits through the VA, because that is who we partner with for treatment. We are hoping to expand that in the future so that veterans that for whatever reason are not eligible for VA benefits could still benefit from our program, because we do partner with, community programs that can help with veterans too. So sometimes even when our vets are eligible for VA benefits, there may be something they need that we can find a community partner that can fill that need better than the VA can. for them. But I would definitely encourage anyone who's interested to come just observe our core. It is it's very different from what you would picture for as being. We kind of develop a relationship with our vets and we welcome you to come. It's in Division 13. It's every other Wednesday at 2:00. We just had court this Wednesday, so it'll be 2 weeks from now, the 10th.
Yeah, July 10th.
July 10th.
What's the community of mentor?
We stay a year, but we understand that, you know, things happen, life happens. So, I mean, we would just like some notice if you aren't able to mentor. But when you feel, we do have a mentor application. So if you do mentor, it will say, are you going to be able to commit for a minimum? I think it's a year. And it's going to be a case by case basis if you're not able to fulfill that year.
Well, and it's, you just would need to have contact with your vet. We ask at least once a week. That can be by phone, go get lunch, whatever, works for you and your vet. And, we prefer if you can attend court with them, but certainly we're not going to turn anyone away if that's not an option. We do have our mentor coordinator attends court every time, and so he will stand in for any vets that have mentor there. Great. Thank you guys so much for your time.
We do have a second presentation, okay, and that will be from Wesley McCain with the.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try to breeze through a pretty big initiative that we have in less than 15 minutes, so it might be a lot of content. I'm gonna do the best I can.
You want us to go through the slides or you want?
Yeah, sure, yeah, I'll point and go next.
Okay.
Yeah, when it's ready, if that's fine.
Yep, that's
Thanks. So my name is Wesley McCain. I work at the Wyandotte County Health Department. How many people in the room here think that the most important thing for your personal health and for the health of the community is whether or not you can access medical care? It is incredibly important. It is incredibly important. And it is the thing that we work on at the health department. It's one of the core things. There's a lot of other things besides medical care that are very important that determine whether or not you're able to live a healthy life or not. The neighborhood you live in, whether you have access to work, whether or not you have issues with substance use, whether you're exposed to violence or not. There's a lot of issues, whether your housing is safe and affordable. Those things are all important for health. And we try to work on that work at the health department. And a lot of the work that we do in that area, a lot of which is emerging, a lot of which is kind of new and sort of unusual or non-traditional, we work on through our community health improvement plan. So I just started in this role. I was in this work for a little while, and then I kind of took a contracting kind of grant writing role, so behind a desk. So I haven't been here in a while, and it's like exciting. I see like a lot of people I've been seeing in a while here, so this is fun. So next here. So I'm just gonna go through a little bit our last CHIP. So CHIP is Community Health Improvement Plan, and I'll be using CHIP just because it's easier as we go through. So you want to go to the next one here? So one of the things we do at the Public Health Department is we focus on partnerships. So I just mentioned a lot of things that the health department does not have control over, right? We hire people, but we can't hire everybody in the county. And we do some work in violence prevention, but a lot of other partners, a lot of whom are in this room, have a huge stake, a larger stake than we do in that work. So a lot of the work that we have to do is figure out where we can be helpful and where we can partner. And so you'll be seeing some ideas about that as I go through the presentation. Thanks, Sarah. So we just got through our 5-year cycle. These health improvement plans happen. We have to do them every 5 years, and we do a 5-year health assessment of the county. And we gather a lot of data. We have focus groups. We talk to people. We kind of get the objective and the subjective information about what people care about, what's the heart disease rates, all that kind of stuff. And then that informs what we put into our plan. So if you want to, and we just finished our 2018 to 2023 plan, and we're now in our 2024 to 2028. And so I'll talk a little bit about that. One thing about the our health improvement plan is that because it's a community created and community driven initiative, we have a steering committee that we really, I mean, the health department serves as the backbone of it, but we really ask that the steering committee sort of ratify, come up with a lot of elements like that we put in the plan. Like the health department provides a lot of support to it, but we don't want to step out from like where our partners want to go. Especially because you'll see we rely a lot upon a lot of nonprofit and community partners to get a lot of this work done. So that's a really important part of it. And then this is a little bit of the structure. And we have a big focus on health equity. And that really, you probably have heard that phrase, that's everybody having the ability in our community to attain the highest level of health possible. And that's regardless of income, race and ethnicity, all those things. So that's very important for us. We're gonna go to the next one. This is from last time, but I'm just gonna go on and talk about this really briefly because these are areas that the health department is not the community leader in. Like when you think like, workforce development, you're not like, I'm gonna call the health department. So we have different agencies that we call lead agencies, and we provide a little bit of funding for them, planning support, partnership, connections with the government. Just kind of backbone stuff to like, if there's some collaboration that's not happening in a certain area, and there's an agency that wants to focus on a certain area, but they're like, who do we partner with? How do we do this? What does this look like? We kind of step in and the health improvement plan is like, the plan itself is actually really important because the plan itself is a lot of ideas. It's different than like a strategic plan. Like a strategic plan is like an organization tries to have all the resources available to do the work that's in there. Like when it starts, we do not have everything available to do the work that's in here when it starts. So there's an aspirational quality of this. And part of it is everybody coming together and saying, what are the best ideas to work on in these areas in the next 5 years? And then how can we work together to make sure that happens? And so it feels loose. I mean, you're going to notice there's a lot of things in here that are like, wow, that's a big idea. Some of which we've started on, some of which we haven't started on. And that's kind of the point, that we want to grow areas in our community where there's gaps, where there's problems. And you'll see some of that going on. So next one here. So just some highlights. So you might think, well, did they actually get anything done? Did they do anything? We have done quite a bit over the last 5 years. So I'm going to talk about stuff that a lot of this is not like, I didn't do this stuff. We helped out with providing funding sometimes. In some cases, we put together partnerships to make things happen. Sometimes those are written agreements between different agencies. In some cases, we had to work with the commission on certain items. And we worked in partnership. And the health department does contribute a lot. I mean, one thing we do is we do have staff that work on this. So sometimes volunteers can kind of get a lot of stuff done. And sometimes it's like, he's going to have to work on that for like 20 hours a week for like a long time. And so in that case, it's good to have paid staff to work on that. So the Economic Development Council leads this. They started business ESL partnerships to help people who needed English language skills to kind of take the next step in their career. There's a lot of people who English is not the first language in their home, and they don't need to be fluent in English. They just need to like understand enough to take that next step. That was really successful. I think they piloted it in 3 big manufacturing businesses, and they want to do more this next thing. And then probably the most impactful thing I think that they worked on was they really focused on affordable childcare. And the Family Conservancy and the Economic Development Council were able to start 430 new childcare spaces that were made available to people who were lower income in our community. That's a massive need for people. It's very expensive. I don't have kids myself, but here it's very expensive. It's very expensive. So to have them cared for while you're at work. So huge thing there if you go to the next one here. So this was one that the health department did really do a lion's share of the work. Transportation to healthcare is a major issue in our community. So we started a thing called Wyandotte Health Link with our safety net clinics, helping people get there. It's like a door-to-door transportation service. We've 1,500 rides as of now, and there's some happening today. So really excited and proud of that program. And then helping people get on health insurance, very important as well. You want to on this next one here? Violence prevention. We got some violence prevention partners here in the room. We have contributed. There was an initiative called Crime Prevention for Environmental Design. Provided a lot of training. There's a toolkit that was developed. I bet a lot of the people in this room are aware of that. I know that we came and talked to this group. I think there's some practitioners of that here in the room that I see. And then we also contributed funding and other resources for a hospital-based violence intervention program that Katie is leading as well. That's also still working as a part of a big project. Can we go to the next one here? And I think this is our last one. So, tax sale is great. I actually think the tax sale is an amazing thing we do in our community. It's very helpful. There's a very small proportion of people in the tax sale who are lower income homeowners who do not have the ability to pay their taxes, and they can get evicted during the tax sale. And so Dustin, who's here in the room, who is leaving us, next is the last week. He's going to Kansas Action for Children. He's done such a good job at his work that they poached him from us. But he's worked with Groundwork Energy. They've raised leverage, I think, $230,000 over the last 3 years to prevent 74 families and people from losing their homes. Once again, really great, but also that's an important part of that process that we want to pay attention to. And then also, this is one where we did a lot of sort of community work. The community housing of Wyandotte County, anyone, I think they've probably come here before. They're a big housing agency in our community. They've started a land trust, which is a way that you can provide affordable housing. I won't go into it because it's kind of complicated. I'm not sure I understand it completely, but it's essentially like the people own the homes, the agency owns the land, and it's a way to sort of maintain affordability in places, especially when houses are increasing in value, because it means that the person gets it, they get a little bit of equity when they sell the home, but it doesn't go up as fast as like in a neighborhood like Strawberry Hill, where I live, where the housing prices are going up very fast. So it's very helpful. So and I am realizing I'll do the next slides very quickly. So if you want to go here, we do a big health assessment, and then we do CHIP based on it. You can go to the next one here. These are our concerns and barriers that came up in our 2022 health assessment. You can see this was, and this is health concerns. Violence was in 2021 and 2022. That was the biggest issue that folks said was an issue in our community. Still is. Also, I just want to acknowledge that violent crime, domestic assaults, there's a number of indicators that are down right now, which is really great. It's really, really great. The health concerns, you can see, these two were not on our list when we did this in 2018, and they all got much worse during COVID. They're like drug misuse and mental health issues now, compared to 5 years ago, are much more significant. Health department has also stepped up its work, and then you can see these as well. And then we also ask people, what are the barriers? So these are the concerns. Why are people having issues with these? And why can't they kind of take steps, and we can all take steps to get healthier, and you can see the ones there. Go to the next one here. So actually same 2024, the same issues emerged. And then we added behavioral health, substance use, and mental health is our big new one that we're working on this year, or the next 5 years. Next here. I want to call out 3 lenses that we use when they were developing the plan, and when we think about the work that we do. The impact of racism and discrimination on our community and on health and on people's ability to access resources and move up and take the next step. We asked the groups to think about that when they were planning their work, and how the strategies that we implement can lessen the impact of that. Poverty and trauma. One of the things we do in this approach is we intentionally didn't create like a racism group to work on racism and a poverty group to work on poverty, because those are very big issues, right? Those are big issues that we thought, and there's nothing against convening and talking about those issues, but we wanted to instead think about, okay, how do we implement the work that we do in a way that can help those issues and kind of focus our efforts on that. And I think it's been really good for the group so far. Our next one here, I probably have what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Yeah, you're all right.
I'm okay. Okay. So our 2024 to 2028 plan is what we've launched here. And if you want to go to the next one. So here's our areas. And this is probably kind of my last slide. But you can see here, what we have is we have these focus areas. And so there's different strategies under each of these, but really, if anyone here wants to get engaged in the work, and there's some people in the room here who are engaged in the work, what I would do is I would get you connected with each of these agencies has a coordinator, and not all of these are up and running, right? Like this is a 5-year plan, so there's not an active group meeting on all this. Some of them, quite a few do, but you can get connected to a committee that's working on those issues and help out. The projects are in sort of various states. I mean, it's a big kind of, I need a metaphor, like I don't know, a lily pond with lots of lily pads. So the and you can, and each, so fair chance hiring, someone was just talking about expungement. That's a big issue that we focus on as well. And making sure that just because you have a record in your past doesn't mean you can't re-enter society, right? That's why we want to rehabilitate people, right? And so transportation, health workers, primary care for our community, especially for people who are uninsured, is very important. And Duchesne Clinic just closed, which is a big clinic right on 7th Street. That's a big loss for our community. And then housing, we have to partner a lot on housing. That's a major issue. Lots of resources needed on that. And then violence prevention and behavioral health. So, just gotta take this in, and if any of these kind of strike your interest and you think, I'd like to be more involved in that, know more about it, that's something my agency or my neighborhood wants to hear more about, we're happy to come and talk a little, in more detail about what we're doing. I may be like, hey, Vibrant, can you go to, it might not be me, it might be another person. But we'll be working on these issues over the next 5 years. I love the CHIP. I think it's a really great way for us to sort of branch out and identify areas, where there's not work happening that needs to happen in our community. Like I said at the beginning, sometimes, some really great things can start if, people kind of get specific on what's needed in a certain area and start to organize around it. And then almost always what happens is at a certain point when a lot of partners are coming together, it gets big enough to where there's an agency that has to kind of be like, okay, we're going to take this on, maybe a nonprofit, maybe another one. And so that's often how the work goes. We kind of start loose, and then you get more sort of coordinated, and then there's someone who's like, we need to be the fiscal agent of this. There's money involved, all that kind of stuff. So it's really fun work. I actually really like it. Get to talk about a lot of new things. It can be maddening too sometimes when you run up against obstacles and stuff, but I think it's really enjoyable, and I think you all would have a good time working on it, and a lot of you already are. And then I have a bunch more slides, but it's really just one thing I'll say is our violence prevention efforts are different than the last 5 ones, because we expanded kind of the efforts, community connected. Moxa was our lead agency last time. Livable Neighborhoods is one of our lead agencies as well on our CHIP. I should definitely call that out. We have some strategies related to community connectedness. As you all know that this is a violence prevention effort right here. I mean, the work that you do building connections between neighbors and between people in your neighborhoods and between, people who might not normally talk to each other, like, is very important. And CEPTED, built environment is important, policy is important. So we have different agencies that are working on this, and we added, this is a big new one, gun violence prevention. I should call out, there was something we're stepping into as a health department. The police department has also been stepping up their efforts on this, doing a great job. There's a lot of cool things that are happening with them as well. So I'm really excited about that as well. And I'll say also, Vivek Murthy, I think the Surgeon General said yesterday that gun violence was a public health issue, which we should be looking at. I agree. We agree as public health people. So excited to kind of see what we can do in our community. And there's a lot of great stuff that we can build on. So I'll wrap it up there. I have a bunch more slides that I was going to go through, but I won't. But does anybody have any questions about that?
It was like, can we get the slide sent to us?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm. Sure.
It's the UG investment in the chip. So what's the budget for the health department in the UG for the?
We have a couple of staff who work on it at the health department. We had a lot of, that's a question we're kind of asking right now because during, we did have American Rescue Plan dollars, which there's a lot of projects I didn't get to mention here because that was an opportunity for us to use some of those kind of community building dollars because the American Rescue Plan had COVID fighting dollars and then COVID messed up our communities. We need to help repair some dollars as well. So there's like some legal assistance projects and some things like that that really help to plug into parts of our chip. Now we're having resource talks about what it means and why it's important. I would say I'd love it if more resources would come into the chip. I think that's important. Right now, it's really the staff at the health department, a couple staff who work on it. And then, I should acknowledge that there's a lot of people at the unified government who aren't funded for CHIP specifically who help out, but centralized resources is really a couple steps.
I just want to add on that. So really other than the couple of staff that work on it, there's not much money finances invested in the chip through like the UG fund, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's one of those, I think, one of the things we haven't done with the commission that we did last time was come in front of the commission and ask the commission to adopt the chip. And I think that is something, that would be really great to do. And yeah, I mean, it certainly, I don't know. I think it's a really great plan. I think there's a lot. I think I'll say yes. And then I'll also say that investment in the chip is not only investing in the health department. I think that's one thing I should say is that I think that more resources would be great. I think it'd be much more successful as a plan. I think there's agencies. I would love for policymakers, right, to kind of adopt the plan and think of it like, here's something that we can trust that if we invest here, this is going to make our community healthier. So yeah, I think so.
Are there other sources out there for grant writing? Does it have to be in the state of Kansas? And national, is there anything in the whole metro area?
We do, yeah, we provide, so we have a grant from the Health Forward Foundation that helps to provide resources for our chip. We've gotten resources from the Wyandotte Health Foundation in the past. American Rescue Plan I mentioned. Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're always attentive to, along with increasing local resources is that, we're a county where, the local tax base is not as hefty as another county where there's property valuations that are much higher. And so we're always attentive and trying to think how can we bring in money from outside of the county into the county to help to do that?
Yeah. There isn't any money in the county. If there was, UG would be funding it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So yes, I think that's a really important item for us.
So as the UG, I don't know if this is the question, Don, Is the UG not providing what they did before to support the health department? Or do you know that, or can you answer that? Because I don't want to get you in trouble, because I know you're not the director, and,
And it's.
oh, I don't really care. Is that kind of the question you were asking, Dawn?
It's,
Or do you know
It's-
that answer?
I do know the answer. It's stepped down some. Yeah,
Okay.
it has. Yeah,
Is there a budget meeting tonight?
Yes.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, that would be good. Okay. Yeah.
He looks back at the commission.
Yeah, for sure. It has gone down some.
Are there any other final questions for us before we move on? Okay, thank you.
I mean,
Okay, we are going to slide directly into department and organization updates. When I call your org or agency, if you would introduce yourself and keep your updates brief to about 3 minutes. I appreciate it. First up is KCK USD.
Good morning, everyone. I will definitely keep this short. I don't have much to share. I'm Edwin Birch, Executive Director of Communications and Marketing for KCKPS. I just want to remind everyone that we have a newsletter that goes out, and it's called Excellence at a Glance. It's an email newsletter. If you want to stay connected with the district, I encourage you all to sign up. So I'm going to put that in the chat. I'm going to relinquish the rest of my time to Marco. He has some information to share with you about the upcoming back to school fair and school registration. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. It's Marco Johnson with Communications Department here at KCKPS. We just wrapped up our summer school yesterday. We had yet another successful summer school. I want to give a big shout out to KCK Fire Department and the KCK Police Department. They came out and they hung out with our kids yesterday. The fire department sprayed the kids down. I stopped at Whittier. It was just a huge blast. So big shout out to all those guys who are involved in the community. With that being said, the enrollment for the 24-25 school year online registration opens July 22nd. That means parents who are new to the district can enroll their kids through our district website. For those who are needing assistance with that process, and we understand that not everyone can navigate it very well, we're going to have several enrollment assistance sessions. July 23rd at Central Office, here at Central Office. July 25th at Wyandotte High School. July 30th also at Wyandotte High School, and August 10th at Homefield KC. The two events at Wyandotte, those are families needing language support in Spanish, Burmese, Swahili, and Nepali. So, and then I'll put this information in the chat there, so you won't have to write all of this down. But again, this is for new parents entering the school district. For our returning parents, they can also go to our Infinite Campus parent account because they're already established. So that's there for them as well. Again, I'll put this link in the chat. And we'll also have our KCK Schools Foundation for Excellence will hold the annual Back to School Fair. This is a fun-filled event, and it'll take place at the home field on Saturday, August 10th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The fair provides school supplies, health screenings, vaccinations, immunizations, and a whole lot more. And the foundation is looking for volunteers and vendors. So if you want to participate, I'll drop that link in the chat as well. But the Back to School Fair, it's a wonderful, wonderful event. A lot of the local agencies here in town come out and they show their support. So if you want to be a part of this, I'll drop the link in the chat, and we hope to see you there. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Next up, we have 202 Turner School District. Only one. We're gone. Next up, we have KCK Fire Department.
Okay, hello. You guys hear me? All right, sorry. Through all of the issues that the public safety server system's gone through the last month, sorry I was not able to be at the meeting. Our access is very limited at this time until we can restore all those systems. But I do have a couple of, I'm glad we were able to get back to today. Fireworks season is here. I will upload a public safety flyer there that you guys can distribute. The two biggest tips off of there are, we had 5 or 6 fires last year. People set fire to their homes. They either set bags of spent fireworks next to their home or inside their garage, and several people lost their homes, and I don't want to see that. So I'm sure Public Works, neighborhood, everybody appreciates y'all cleaning up after you shoot, but leave that stuff curbside. Don't put it in a car. Don't put it next to your house. This year we've got 31 fireworks stands. We have the one out there off 59th and County Line is not opening this year. They decided to call it quits, but there's another new one in the old Best Buy parking lot out at the Legends. Hopefully that one functions safely and correctly. Reminder, the sales will start on the 29th through the 4th. You can legally discharge fireworks from July 2nd through July 4th from 9 to 11. This firework, this 4th of July really falls on a bad day for everybody. It's a Thursday. All of these days where we can discharge are during the middle of the week. I'm sure most parents are probably going to be at work at some or all of those days, so make sure your young children don't have access to those until you're around to help them discharge those safely. One other safety tip, the Missouri River is at flood stage. It's only getting worse from all of the flooding up in Nebraska, South Dakota. We're expecting a lot of rain this weekend, probably some flooding conditions. There may be some streets down in Armourdale or somewhere else, if there's some plug systems or just overwhelmed, that you're going to get flooded streets. Please don't drive through those, and please don't try and walk through them. If you've ever seen the fire department go and try and rescue somebody out of a car in a street, you'll see us. We've got a pike pole in front of us. We're tapping. When those sewer systems become backflowed with water from the river, they'll blow those sewer lids off of the covers. And that will be an open hole that you can step in and fall through and get stuck in the sewer system. So please don't wade through it either. Other than that, I'll cut it short there. If you have any questions, feel free to let me have it.
I've been hearing fireworks for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
What can be done about that?
So you can thank Missouri for that. They sell year round. And well, actually, I believe Kansas passed a law where they can sell year round now too, but it's up to the municipality to limit that. So if you have fireworks going off, certainly call 911, report it. And we'll do our best to try and get there between the sheriff, the police, and the fire department. We'll do our best to get there as quick as we can, but a lot of those, if they're throwing them somewhere and leaving, there's really nothing left for us to find unless somebody has, a security camera system to let us have access to, or if they can actually identify them. Feel free to contact us and we'll educate them on, the proper times to do that.
Some other hands.
Yeah, I think it's 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. July 2nd through the 4th. Is that what you said?
That's correct. You can discharge them from 9 in the morning to 11 in the evening, and they can sell them from 10 in the morning till 10 in the evening. So a little bit shorter sales time, a little bit longer discharge time. There is only one public fireworks display this year. I forgot to mention that. That'll be Turner Rec at Pearson Park. I'm sure Sheriff Shoptics is happy I'm disclosing that. It's always a traffic nightmare, but on July 2nd at Pearson Park is really the only public display during this time. If you're going to go, get there early. because if it fills up, they shut down 55th and Metropolitan once the park gets overloaded. So there's several places on high ground you can also park and catch that display, but that's the only public one that I have seen come across my desk for approval.
We have one last question online from Myra.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Droppelman. Just a quick question. I'm one of those dummies that left a box of unused fireworks next to my house. I didn't catch my house on fire, thankfully, but I'm pretty sure it's still outside my house. So for this year, is there, I'm going to go fix that actually right now. However, for this year, if we have unused fireworks, is there anywhere we can drop them off after 4th of July if we don't want to do them?
So if you have live unused fireworks, you can bring them up to fire headquarters. You can turn them into my office. We've got a place to store those, and we will destroy those in a safe manner. If you run across that, I know when we go around and confiscate them from folks that aren't supposed to have them, or bottle rockets and stuff, that's what we do. We have a place we take them to and dispose of them. But yeah, if you have some that you're not comfortable keeping around, you can give me a call, stop by headquarters, and we'll store them and get rid of them for you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Chief, and I hope you have a safe Independence Week. Next up, we have KCK.
All right, hey, everybody. I'm still Joe Grisella. I've got Captain Shanae Davis with me. Just a quick recap. We've had some really good events and stuff going on with the police department lately. We had our big football camp, Bishop Ward's high school football field. I think about 150 youth came out there. I was sweating a lot, but it was fun. Kids had a really good time with it, and it was a blast. We also had East Patrol had their open house. I'm up here primarily because I'm plugging my open house, which is today, coincidentally. So basically 80th and State, right there by Go Chicken Go to the south, there's a fire station, Station 19, as well as my police station. We're gonna have an open house, kind of a joint open house with the fire department. So if you have anybody who wants to come out, we're gonna cook some hot dogs, hang out, have our gaming trailer out there, and some other resources and stuff too. So if you want to come see that, or check out a cool fire truck or whatever, that'll all be there. Like I said, today from 4 to 6. I think I've checked the weather. It's going to be hot, but not as miserably hot as it has been. So.
So the other event that we have coming up pretty quick is going to be next Saturday, July 6th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Legends. We're going to be partnering with the fire department and sheriff's department to do a back to school bash. So this Saturday, we're going to be accepting donations to Cram the Cruiser event at the Legends to accept school supplies donations. Primarily, we're looking for spiral notebooks, backpacks, pencils, pens, just kind of the standard stuff. We'll take donations from the public then. We'll be at that main Legends entrance at that little half roundabout, I guess, that has the Legends display behind it, right? We'll have the Bearcat, some motorcycles out there, cop cars for the kids and stuff to look at, and we'll take donations then. The donations will then be distributed August 3rd. We'll be out at Pearson Park with the first responders. We'll set up another splash pad with the fire department for the kids. We'll have some games and tables and static displays for them to look at. And then we'll be giving out those school supplies to the kids. That one's going to be August 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, that's going to be at Pearson Park at Shelter 1. I think those are all our events.
Yep, and then the other one we'll just kind of mention is I think I saw the flyer for the Night Out Against Crime coming up in August. So if you haven't seen that one, that's a great event. It was 6th of August, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 6th of August, that'll be at the Jewel Building there at the community college campus, the main campus. If you have not been to Night Out Against Crime, it's incredible. I've been going for 15, 16 years now since I've been on the police department, and it's always a great event. So make sure you're there for that one. And then the other one that we'll just quickly plug, just get on your calendars. It'll be also Thursday, but it'll be 22nd of August. Same times 4 to 6, because we like keeping everything consistent. We'll be at South Patrol, which is their 22nd and Metropolitan. They'll be doing their open house there. So that, like I said, that'll be the 22nd. So late in the summer. Also, I'm sure it'll be hot then. Cool. Anybody have any questions for us? All right, hope to see you guys out at my station here this afternoon. I had some flyers lying over there if you guys want to grab one. If you want to share with anybody else today.
Up next, we have the sheriff's office.
Righty, good morning, everybody. So real quick, I want to start off with an introduction. So new to our team is Grace Jacobs, and she is our new media specialist. So everything social media related, content related, flyer related, picture related, jobs, the list just keeps going. So I'd like everybody to welcome her to our team. We're super excited to have her. You'll see her out at a bunch of our events. You'll see her out at meetings like this. And so feel free to ask her any questions you might have. So this last weekend, we had our pool event at Parkwood Pool. And that's a reoccurring thing that we've been doing there, where we provide free entry to the pool, hot dogs, chips, all that type of stuff. And I stopped counting at about 300 hot dogs. So I don't know what we ended up cooking and giving away, but it was a great event. We've got several other things between now and the end of the summer, but because it has been 1,000,000 degrees, I will hit on July 19th. Is going to be our second pool event, and we're trying to do 2 a year, but that one's going to be out at the Bonner Aquatic Center. We wanted to get out west, and so we're super excited to be out there. That one's going to be in conjunction with Bonner Springs Police Department, Fire Department, and their Parks and Rec. So if you're out west, you know people out west, please tell them to come see us. We're super excited about that. Against Crime, we will also be there. Another great event. I can't speak enough about that. And to Joe's point, we've been doing it forever, and it's just an amazing time. I always plug this, but I'll plug it again. Anywhere, anytime, any group, we would love to come and talk to you guys. You know, one thing that the sheriff's office has kind of always fought, if you will, or had to explain, is really what we do. You know, so much of what we do is out of the public eye, with the majority of our staff in the lovely detention center in this county. You don't see a lot of them. And the other things that we do on a daily basis, you just don't know about. It's really easy to put your finger on what the police department does, what the fire department does. But I get asked quite a bit. And to expand on why we do it. It's 99.9% of everything we do, because there's a statute in the state that tells me you're going to do it. So do it. And so any of these groups, any of your community groups, if you ever want me to come and be one of the speakers and kind of explain that, I would be happy to do that. Because that is something that just a lot of people don't know and they don't understand. And when we start giving them the list and giving them the whys, all of a sudden they're like, oh, we wondered who did that, or we wondered why you did that, or we wish you wouldn't do that, but we know you have to because statute says you will. And so we're available. I'm available. And I do want to give a couple more plugs real quick to our specialty courts. You know, Judge Henry is up here. Those are amazing. We're involved in those. There's drug court and behavioral health court. They really are an asset to the community. So thank you, Judge. And they really are. And I think that's about it. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yeah.
How many people are you serving at this point?
Serving. Yeah.
Incarcerated.
So. I can say last night, 520.
Is that more than usual?
That's not. But that's been consistent. That's a consistent issue. For the last several years, I would say since COVID left us, you know, during COVID, because of some things we had to do, our numbers definitely did drop. Because of some things the police department had to do, those numbers dropped, but they came back with a vengeance. And it really does become an issue with how many we can keep in the facility, and other things we have to do and leave room, quite honestly. You know, we've got a big holiday weekend. We've got a big holiday week coming up. And so unfortunately, we try to make sure that, you know, we get those numbers as low as we can, because we don't know what the week's going to bring. But yeah, it's definitely an issue. I'm gonna start using that term.
You still doing Citizens Academy?
Yeah, so we've not scheduled our next one, but yes, we will be doing another one. You can watch for those social media posts that Grace will be putting out when that comes up. Absolutely.
Well, I'd like to plug that because I got to go to the first one. This is a wonderful way to find out what the sheriff's department, and the police department do the same thing. Absolutely wonderful way to find out what they do. And they can tase you if you want to.
Well, happy to serve them. Anything else? Like I said, watch our social media. We're very thankful to have the partnerships with the police department, fire department, all these other UG agencies. We've got a bunch going on this summer, so
Are you having to farm out?
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Sheriff, could you explain what that means?
Yeah, so farming out is when we take folks that we have in custody and we send them to other facilities that we have contracts with. It becomes, unfortunately, a way for us to manage our population, the amount of people we're serving. And it's because if we kept all 520 of those in the facility, it would take us a whole lot closer to max capacity or would want to be at. We do have to leave room for things, just the unknown. You put into that some staffing issues that definitely contribute to needing to farm out. But I'll tell you here as of late, our staffing is going in the right direction. But the number in custody is also rising. And there's a point when you can have enough staff, but just not have enough bed space or not have that buffer. And so you still end up having to farm out. But yes, we are.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Great question. Thank you, guys. Thanks very much.
We have DPU.
Do that from my chair, I guess. I'm Nick Moran, everybody. I'm the communications coordinator at VPU. One thing that kind of ticks up in the summer is utility scams. It happens all year, but around the holidays and summertime, utility scams will ramp up. We will never call you directly and ask for payment. We do have like automated systems that will give calls and let people know they're supposed to be delinquent or they're due. And they will direct people to call our customer service or a payment line or direct them to our website. But just make sure to tell your folks that don't get payment over the phone. It rarely happens, but if someone does reach out, make sure to reach out to our customer service and let us know what's going on. We'll try to get the media informed and everything so they can put it out in the news and all that. Right now, we have been consistently partnering with the United Way for our utility assistant options. And so we have two different ways that works. At the utility assistance program, which kind of works based on your income level. And we also have a hardship program that is a one-time thing that just helps people out that have been good on their payments in the past and just reach a point where they are having trouble making their next payment. And you can find more information on both those, calling 211 and getting with the United Way, and they'll help get you to the right services. We have an in-house payment arrangement system as well. So 573-9145. Call them if you want to make payment arrangements. The earlier people get to us, the better that we can help them and help keep their lights and power on. Last thing that I have is more of an ask for everybody. So we are looking to add more languages onto our website. And I don't know if anyone here has data on the languages that are more prevalent in Wyandotte County. So we do. There you go. So I'll give it the outdoors, Leslie. We can talk about that. Sure. And just adding on to the fire department, watch out for those utility lines when you're doing fireworks as well, because those are the pretty big danger. And if you see any down lines, assume it's live, stay away, call our electric team at 9522, so 573-522. So thank you all for the time.
Mayor's office.
Good morning, Irene Gaudio with the mayor's office. Couple of just reminders at the next commission meeting, July 11th, under the mayor's agenda, he will have public comment opportunity for community to address the commission. Also, if you were in attendance at the June 6th commission meeting, there was a wonderful celebration and honor for Chester Owens. The commission approved the signage for he and his wife right there off on his street off of 12th and Washington. The unveiling of those signs will be a small ceremony, well, a big ceremony because community came out and showed out. So will be a ceremony July 19th at 6:30 at that location. Also want to remind you, now that the mayor has kind of fully come back into speed, we have restarted his Tyrone Tuesday. Now it's Mayor Tyrone Tuesday's tour. So he will actually be on the road with those events, with the upcoming one, July 23rd at 5:30 at the South Branch Library. This is your opportunity for a one-on-one in community with the mayor, not just, of course, about concerns and issues, but really about getting to some solutions and an opportunity for the mayor to listen, have that opportunity to listen to community. And the last thing I will say is also what we are working with the mayor's calendar is to make sure that he attends the neighborhood meetings. He most of the time we have them on his calendar and we will kind of pick and choose. But what we're asking neighborhood groups of the importance is if you would like for him to come speak, talk on any topic, he'd be happy to schedule that as opposed to us trying to schedule 2 or 3 a month to make sure he gets to all of them in a year. Just contact Anna, his executive assistant at 573-5010, and we could schedule those. And then just as a heads up, we are going to be working with current elected officials. It's not an election campaign forum, but more of a opportunity for question and answers with some of the elected officials as things kind of arise. I know people are really kind of questioning chiefs and royals and all kinds of other things that are happening on 4th in Minnesota. So this is kind of our opportunity to really get information out to the community, and we'll have some elected officials that actually are also sitting in the room that we're going to be asking for calendars to see if we could just make it an opportunity for question and answers from community. And that's it from the mayor's office. Kayla, I'll send all of that information to you for the newsletter.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna back up because Sheriff's Office forgot.
I'm sorry, I forgot something. Actually, BP reminded me. Talking about scams. So over the last couple of weeks, we received a bunch of phone calls that people are getting phone calls saying the sheriff's office is calling. I have a warrant, give me $1,000 in gift card, we'll take care of it. So we issued a press release, but what's something that's super important for people to know, we don't call with warrants. We don't call to tell you we're gonna arrest you. In fact, if you call us and say, do we have a warrant? We won't tell you. So it's the opposite. And so if you have anybody that you know of that's truly been a victim, and not just a victim of a phone call, fortunately, there's nothing we can really do. Those are hard to prove where they're coming from, it really is. But somebody that's actually been a victim of the financial piece of it, where they have a financial loss, let us know. Tell them to come to our office. We'll take that report and get it over to the DA's office as appropriate. But I just wanted to stick that out.
And I just want to add that they have been spoofing our number lately as well, so they can probably do that with you guys, so they can look like it's coming from BP or the sheriff's department
And
yeah.
And sometimes they use names that I don't know who that is, but this last rash, they actually used one of our lieutenant colonels who does work for them. And so when you go to the website and you look it up, his name does pop up, and it adds some validity to it for people. But still, we don't call it that stuff. So
True story. When I was the sheriff, one of those people called me. And said he was the sheriff. We had a nice conversation.
Great segue into the next people. We have the district attorney's office.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Mark Dupree, a district attorney, and I plan on being shorter than, Sheriff Soptic, since he forgets things. He's always saying I'm too long-winded. So a couple of things. I want to start out by saying, number one, the expungement fair. So in Kansas, the state law says that you have an opportunity if you have some type of criminal record on your record, you can get that expunged. Let me be clear, no murders, no sex crimes, nothing that you have to report on a monthly basis. Those are not expungible. What does expungement mean? That means that it can be cleared away. So I'm gonna do this and don't count with me, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll stop there. 1 in every 4 Americans have a criminal record. I'm not gonna say how many that is in this room. Because we all say, oh, crime, oh no, these are criminals. Folks, everyone grew up somewhere, and a lot of times we all made some type of mistakes. The good thing about it is in this country, we have the opportunity of getting a second chance. And expungements here in the state of Kansas, which has been on the books for decades, you get the opportunity to go and get a redo. What the law says is if you've served your time, right? You went to prison, you served your time, or if you were on probation and you finished your probation successfully, and 3 to 5 years has passed from the time you completed your sentence or your probation, and you've had no criminal history since then, well, except for DUIs. DUIs are 7 to 10 years wait time from the time you're finished. Then you have the opportunity to apply for an expungement, and that expungement goes in front of one of those very, very smart and efficient judges. And those judges, they get to look at your criminal history and look at your application to see whether or not you get to have that record expunged. And if so, then they sign off and your record is expunged. What does that mean? That means that the nosy neighbor and your employers cannot go and dig into your criminal history. Let me tell you who will still have it. Law enforcement, the government, and so on and so forth will still have access to that. This is extremely important because this is year number 6. 6 years, we have had over 300 individuals who went ahead and applied and received an expungement. It's important to take that into consideration because 50% of individuals who have a criminal record, if they go to apply for a job, the data shows they won't even get a call back. If their criminal history is expunged and the record is expunged, they're 80% more likely to at least get a call and an interview. What we want to do in the district attorney's office is help people get money, help people earn a living so that they don't have to go and commit crime, and then they're introduced to the district attorney's office that way. So July 23rd, July 24th, in conjunction with the Kansas City, Kansas Community College, as it has been the last 6 years, along with the Kansas Legal Services, who is a law practice who assisted the state of Kansas. Those defense lawyers will be out there with the assistant district attorneys on those days and will be able to assist individuals to fill out the application. If you know folks, or if you yourself want to get an expungement, you can call 913-573-2851. If you're on the screen, there is a chat that will have the document of the flyer. We'll have all of this information. We'll get that information so you can put it all out there. And with that, you can call and be pre-registered so we can start this process. Why did we start this? We started this because as a former defense lawyer, I used to charge $2,500 to do an expungement for someone. So I know it's something else. So what I found out is that people who don't have a job and who are struggling to try to get a job and who have been stopped from getting a job because of that criminal record, they don't have that $2,500. So when we got into office, what we said was, okay, what can we do to help them? We decided to do this expungement, remove that $2,500, utilize the assistant district attorneys and the collaboration with the Kansas Legal Services attorneys. They come in and now this service is for free. But on top of that, someone say there's more. There's more. You get a grant from the Kansas Legal Services with the state of Kansas that will allow us to pay for the $194 that the courts say you have to pay. I couldn't tell the judge we weren't gonna pay. They're like, you better figure out how to pay it. So we got a grant and now we pay for that $194. So you don't even have to pay that $200 for the filing fee. So all of this is free of charge for individuals who come out and get it done. I think I beat the sheriff. He's saying no. I had two more things, but here's what I'm going to say about them. Call my office. We want folks who have, and this is a little somber, victims of crime. We need individuals who are victims of crime in the past and who are willing to communicate with us. 3 years ago, we created the Victims Liaison Board, and we have been in communication with victims of crime who've come through the system. And their entire goal is to talk with me and say, hey, Dupree, this is where you all can do better. This is what you need to do so that when I'm a victim or when those are victims come behind me, you can do a better job with helping them. The number one thing that we've received that feedback on from the Victims Liaison Board is we need more time. We need more victims advocates to talk to us, to help us through this process. We're not lawyers, and we have been working on that. We have now 4 victims advocates in our DA's office. When I started out, we only had 2. I'm going tonight to talk to the commissioner to request 4 more. Best practices says we should have victims advocates that have a caseload of 150 victims apiece. We have 950 victims per victims advocate in our office. And I believe that it is necessary to have the support, as the sheriff said, statute says, via the Victims Bill of Rights, which is a Kansas state law, says that we as the DA's office need to provide these services to help individuals through this process. And that is what we plan on doing. If you want to be a part of continuing to help us, continuing to tell us where our shortfalls are, this government is your government. We're here to work for you. You don't tell us where we're dropping the ball, we'll just keep acting like we're not dropping it. So reach out, same number, 913-573-2851. Let us help you. I still think I beat them. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
For that expungement, is that only for crimes in Kansas?
Crimes in Kansas and crimes in Wyandotte County only. So the crime
You got a
that
DUI in Missouri,
won't help.
you're out of luck.
Right, and in fact, if you got a DUI in Missouri, you really out of luck. I don't think they can expunge that over there. I know Missouri just changed some of their laws, but Kansas has been a leader in this space for decades. And so if you have a crime that you need expunged in Wyandotte County, regardless of how old it is, you can go in and apply for this expungement. The only time that I've seen judges deny those expungement is if you have funds, right? So if you still owe money to a victim on a case and you haven't paid it, and yeah, it's been 10 years, but you still owe $5,000, they're going to say, no, go and pay that, right? So you need to still deal with all of those fines and fees and restitutions. Any other questions? Thank you folks so much. Am I good to go? Was there any chat?
No, no more questions.
Wonderful. Take it.
We have strategic communications.
Good morning, everyone. Crystal McFetters here. Just want to tell everyone thank you for kind of giving us a little grace. We are short one team member. I don't know if all of you all know Ashley had her baby a few weeks ago. So congratulations to her and her family. So we're a little short staffed here in our office, but thank you for everyone for giving us that grace. Just have a couple of quick announcements. Just want to remind everyone with the temperature heating up, we recently posted the cooling centers from around KCK and Wyandotte County. So if you know of anyone that needs those services kind of staying out of the heat, please feel free to give them that information. It's on our website and we'll continue to push that out on social media as well. Recently put out, there's a dot arts survey, and it's basically an arts inventory. So if you know anyone that does any kind of, if they're a musician, if they do painting, any kind of creative, we're looking for a server. We're trying to pull that true asset inventory together. And so I'll put that link in the chat as well. There's also from the World Cup Readiness Task Force. This just launched a couple Thursdays ago. There's a survey that they are trying to pool for the community, as well as anyone that's interested in being in a working group. So I will put that link in there, and it's also on our homepage and as one of our news article links as well. Also, just a reminder about tonight's budget workshop kicking off today at 5 o'clock, right before the full commission meeting. And then at 11:30, if you all are free, we're doing a ribbon cutting through our Parks and Recs department for a newly installed walking trail at St. Margaret's Park. So bring your tennis shoes, bring your water, and there will be free lunch while supplies last. And that kicks off at 11:30 at St. Margaret's Park. And that's all I have. Just continue to let us know if you all have anything going on where you would like for us to come and support and be there to celebrate with you. So thank you.
Thanks, Crystal. Next, we have the Neighborhood Resource Center.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I don't have much morning, so I didn't take much time. Did everybody appreciate not having to step over sandbags this morning? So, we did have a major rain about 2 weeks ago, 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And I watched the video and it got right up to the door, but it never got over. And there was a lot of rain. I don't think we'll have that type of rain very often. A couple things, just to add to what Chief Droppelman mentioned. The one date he didn't throw out is that all fireworks stands and all the debris and everything around the locations they are have to be cleaned up by the 27th. Or not 27th, the 7th, sorry, July. And one last item. In the past, we had a fee waiver for single family and two family properties east of 78th Street for building permits and sewer connection fees. That expired a while back, but the commission did approve that again here this past month. So those are back in place for those wanting to build single family and duplexes east of 78th Street. Building permit fees are all waived, driveway permits by Public Works, and then sewer connection fees, both the connection and the lateral fee, which is significant savings for somebody trying to build a home. That program's there to incentivize building on land bank lots and those that are infill type lots that haven't been developed over years that are in neighborhoods. Infrastructure is already there, so the UG doesn't have much cost. I would also note that BPU had also approved their fee waivers too. However, for them, it's not direct report. You need to contact them pretty much to find out what they would offer, because their infrastructure may vary and they may not have the proper electrical system, transformer, lateral line in there. So they have to look at the situation to determine if you qualify for any fee waivers that they have in that area too. So that's all I have this morning. Thank you.
Urban design.
Did you say planning, Nina?
I did.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. Don't have many updates. We're still working through the development agreement for 4th and Minnesota. But I think that should be become a little bit more public soon in the next couple of months. We're also working through the final selection for Indian Springs in that development agreement as well. So just keep your eyes on the website. It's wicokck.org/redevelopment for more news on those two particular redevelopment sites. I do have an announcement. You may or may not have seen it, but as part of our Community for All Ages initiative, we announced yesterday that the UG received $15,000 for public benches in KCK. So this will be able to cover about 12 public benches at locations that don't currently have places for people to sit. And that has to be completed by December 15th. So it's a pretty quick project, but we'll have more information about that soon. I think that's it on my end, so.
Thank you, Alyssa. Last but surely not least, if the Public Health Department have any additional updates.
I do. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Anthony Lee Jr. I'm the Lead Hazard Control Program Supervisor for the Wyandotte County Public Health Department. Hey, Edwin. Hey,
Anthony.
I just want to let everyone know Just some updates on our program. So we have been getting applicants for our program. The homes that we have done assessments on, I just want to let everyone know, we're finding a lot of lead in windows. Just to preface this, all homes built before 1978 qualify for our program. But we've been finding a lot of lead in the windows, and we've been seeing, I didn't think I would see this much, but we've been seeing a lot of radon as well. So people don't know about that. It's odorless, a tasteless gas that comes from uranium and rocks. It's in all the rocks. And it just kind of seeps up through basements, and it's the second cause of lung cancer in healthy adults, non-smoking. So I've been seeing a lot of that. So I just want to let people know, warn people, make sure if you don't qualify for our program, make sure you get your home tested for radon. There are a lot of professionals throughout the Kansas City area that will come out and do an assessment, and then they can put a mitigation system in. But I also want you guys to please advocate for us. Let the community know about our program. We really want more people to apply for this program. It's a great program. It's free. It's free. It requires a lot of documentation, but it is free. So yes, apply.
I appreciate you yesterday taking the time to talk to one of my constituents about no lead. But then she texted me that she was told you must have children to qualify.
Yes. So for homeowners, you must have children under the age of 6 in the home. In the home. For some reason, if you're a renter, you do not have to have any children in the home. They would like, I think the reason for that is that if someone moves out of there and a family moves in, it's already a lead safe environment. So I think that's why they don't mind children not being in rentals, because people come and go. But if it's a homeowner, they're most likely to stay in. It's most likely a family. So it has to be a child under the age of 6 or a pregnant female in the home. Or if they're a grandparent, their grandchild can be in the home 6 hours or more per week. And then we can say, okay, the child spends a lot of time here. They will qualify for the grant. Yes.
What about old people?
I know. So, that my thing is, we want this grant to succeed. It has other programs. So they have an older adult modification program. They have a weatherization program. They have a ton of programs. So we want to get off the ground with this one, and then hopefully we can open it up to having more programs there, and then we can serve a larger population. Yes, sir.
If I may, I used to represent the lead program at KDHE. Kids have a tendency to eat the paint because it's sweet, I understand. I've never tried it myself. That's why the focus is on kids under 6.
Absolutely. And that is why. The main focus is children, because we have, as you probably don't know, we have a lot of children in Wyandotte County who are lead poisoned. We have a lot of old houses stock E635. So a lot of kids are eating those lead-based paint strips. Their parents work at a battery plant. They could be bringing that stuff home. So we have a lot of risk factors here. So we want to make sure we mitigate those issues. So please advocate for us. If anyone has any questions, I did bring my cards, so I'll leave them up here. If you want to contact me, you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, thank you for letting me take the. Oh, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, I believe that K-State Extension
Mhm.
has radon test kits.
Yes, and they do soil as well, so.
And that
they're-
information is in the newsletter that comes out this Thursday. I'll put it at the very top.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, everyone.
We have 2 minutes left, which isn't enough time to do anything, but we still have our community announcements on our agenda. If you have a community announcement, please come up, introduce yourself, keep it to the 1 minute that we have left.
Hi, my name is Connie Brown Collins. I'm a director of Voter Rights Network of Wyandotte County. We basically follow state legislation, things that happen in Topeka that affect us here in Wyandotte. We are having a lunch and learn this Saturday to kind of discuss some of those issues. And our theme is Dot Dilemma, state versus local issues. We've invited both UG commissioners as well as our state delegation to be on a panel to talk about some of those issues and whether or not they're compatible, whether or not they're conflicting, and what can be done. Some of our issues that we are going to be talking about are the new tax law, the Star Bond law that was just passed. We talk about voter rights, public education, healthcare access, Medicaid expansion, et cetera, et cetera. So a number of those issues will be discussed. We have two moderators, Rashanae Hamby, who's the policy director of the ACLU, and Tony Martinez, our beloved Tony Martinez, who is doesn't want to be identified as such, but he is a very important part of this community and works in the courts. I'll put it that way. So we would love for you to join us. We are having lunches for folks, and again, we'll have good discussion. We have community can ask questions, have all your burning questions answered. These are flyers that you're certainly welcome to take one, and we do ask that you register online so that we have enough lunches for everyone. So. Like ongoing information, because again, we follow these issues when the legislature is in session, you know, and teach people how to weigh in on those issues that impact us directly. You're welcome to sign up. I send out emails. Pam knows this. I can send out emails with information if you'd like to sign up for those. Or to come to our meetings, because we do have meetings typically twice a month.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth with Youth Ambassadors. I just want to plug in our 4th annual Teen Peace Summit. It's going to be Thursday, July 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This year we're opening up to the public, so we are anticipating a bigger audience. It's really focused on violence prevention and really uplifting our youth. So the only requirement they do have to be from 14 to 18 years old. Because really, we're gonna have violence prevention workshops, we're gonna have live entertainment, raffle prizes, and food. And I do want to shout out the KCKPD. They also will be there for our peace walk towards the end. So we do have their support, and then we also have support from the Wyandotte Health Department as well. So it's gonna be a great event. If you know anybody, there is some spots open. It's a free event. I'll have some flyers out and they can sign up.
Let's have a hand up online.
Hey, Alyssa here again, putting on a different hat. So with Friends of KCK Animal Services, I just wanted to let everyone know that we're continuing to get grant funding to provide free spay and neuter services to try to address the overpopulation of dogs and cats in KCK. Currently, however, we do offer or KCK Animal Services partners with Pet Resource Center to offer a very, very low cost spay neuters. I think it's $25 right now. You can call Animal Services. We're really trying to get people to utilize that. We are applying for grants actively to make that completely free. But we do need to fix as many animals as possible. So if you know anyone that needs those services, please spread the word. Thanks.
And then we have two that were in the chat. The first is from Kimber Barnes, and it says, A Loving Space Foundation has started their basketball program back up. If you know any boys or girls who are in the 6th to 12th grade, you can contact them at alovingSpaceFoundation@gmail.com. They also do community cleanups, and they'll be starting those again, and would love to work with any neighborhood group. So contact them if you're interested in that as well. Leah with KC Digital Drive says that KC Digital Inclusion Fund grants are open this year. Any 501c3 organization, government entity, as long as you're client serving, you're eligible to apply for it. First grant cycle funds community devices, which closes on July 12th. The second grant cycle funds IT support, and the third grant cycle funds new digital skill courses. So if you're interested in implementing any of those, you can find more information at kcdif.org. And it's open to qualified applicants in the 9 metro county areas of Greater KC, which includes Wyandotte, Leavenworth, Johnson, and Miami. And then I will put information about the Voter Rights Network in the upcoming newsletter. That is all. Or not. We have one more, I promise. Just one.
Hi, Don Ashkins, the Kansas Community College trustee. Want to give a shout out to everybody that promoted the community college today. I heard it from the health department. I heard it from the police department, heard it from the sheriff's office. I heard it from Livable Neighborhoods, Night Out Against Crime. Expungement from the DA's office. Back to school giveaway. There's a lot of stuff going on at your community college all the time. My question for you is, if you're not doing something with the community college, why? Because it belongs to you, okay? I will tell you that summer enrollment is up 26%. 26% for summer enrollment. And so far, our pre-enrollment for the fall is on pace at 2 to 3% above what we were last year. So we're in good shape. The work is continuing kind of on the downtown project, which is an education, health, and wellness center that will include SWOP health services available. So we're going to help the health department out. We're going to help the community out with that. But one of those old buildings was formerly, years ago, a Firestone truck center.
Yes.
And as we were putting pylons down, we run across some stuff in the soil. So that's in the process of being tested right now to see what kind of abatement we might need to do. So things, if it looks like it's slowed down there, it has, till we get those results back. But again, thank you. We're happy to come and talk to any of your groups. Reach out. Our board has a community engagement committee that I'm a part of, and would be happy to come and share with you more details. And we are going to be a presenter here at Livable Neighborhoods soon, in the upcoming months, soon we get that scheduled. So thank you.
And our event is being held at the community college as well.
Thank you.
We are gonna close. We are 7 minutes past time. Thank you all for coming.
There's somebody behind you. I'm sorry, you didn't see her hand, but she's been trying to say something.
No, we've already talked about it, Night Out Against Crime. If I haven't contacted you, please contact me. You can do that through Livable Neighborhoods or myself. Vendors that come will be in, probably setting up about 4 o'clock is what I suggest, because it gets real congested by 5. The event is actually from 5 until 8 p.m.
And that's at the community college.
And that's after.
Go Blue Devils.
And with that, we're wrapping up. Thank you.
And if not, don't blame me. I'll catch you next time. All right. Always a pleasure seeing you.